what do people come? I'm not trying to get out of doing the interview myself, but I'm just what are common questions if you go to this event, and not just like, what do you do, but the questions that maybe people are confused by around ESG, just some of the communication that you're having to just sort of educate people. Yep. What are some of those common questions? Either one of you, if you want to start with it.
Look, I think there's been a very common question that's been floating around industry for sort of the last 2 to 3 years as ESG landscape has changed, and that is, well, what does ESG even mean? Mm-hmm. How do I integrate it into my business and operationalize ESG?
It's 3 huge ideas.
Right?
The
exactly
ESG
right.
itself. Yeah.
So there's been a big transition. It was sustainability not so long ago, and being pushed down as ESG now. And really, ESG is about effectively managing risk across all of the consequence profiles in your business. We've been doing safety and compliance risk for a very long time, and fundamentally looking at environment, social, and governance risk is taking a very similar approach. Understanding your material threats associated with ESG, understanding the current control strategies that you have in place to manage those material threats, the gap that exists within your business, and what's the roadmap that you need to do to close that gap, and setting some real achievable KPIs that are right sized for your organization around how you're going to track, monitor, and benchmark yourself as you close the gap on effective ESG control implementation. And the next stage of the maturity model within that is, companies were once saying, okay, well, you've got an ESG strategy, tick. Now it's more about, well, let's lift the hood up and see how the controls within that ESG strategy permeate the business and are actually delivering sustainable change at the working phase. And as a result, ESG auditing and assurance is now becoming a bigger aspect of providing third-party diligence and assurance that allows key clients to be able to put their hands on their hearts and report to their shareholders and stakeholders that what they're actually saying they're doing within their ESG strategy is occurring and taking place. There's been a number of artificial intelligence software platforms that had been developed, particularly within the financial markets, providing rating scores for ESG. And what that would do is just scrape information off of websites and public reports and tick a number of boxes and give them a rating score. So as you can see, the maturity around ESG is changed fundamentally now, and it's no longer good enough to tick the box.
I can just see a company seeing that report going up and be like, really? That's how we got some auto report that got generated.
So the main questions we're facing now, is, well, how do I integrate? Well, it's not so much how do I integrate ESG, because I think everyone's sort of moved along that journey a little bit. It's what value can I get out of ESG? How can I make it positive? How can I bring initiatives in that are MPV positive for the business? The waste products that I'm generating from my mining, from the mining activities I'm being undertaken, how can they beneficially be reused? How can I integrate that into, a circular economy? And ultimately, all of these are good news stories that support the company's social license to operate. They effectively help you to better manage your risk profile across your operations and your corporate business, and they give you better governance systems. So make the business, once it's all integrated, operate far more efficiently.
Yeah. You had something to add?
Oh, no, I was just going to go on from that, and Justin wrapped it up by expanding on sort of strategy through to implementation, and then and now people want to know how to measure that. So what does measuring ESG performance look like? And that's where sort of scraping a whole bunch of data from different sources isn't necessarily measuring it, but measuring it at dare I say it, at the front line or wherever the point of implementation is of an initiative, and having performance measures and metrics that can truly reflect performance, then that leads us to transparency, which I think is something else that industry and our clients are seeking is, well, how can we confidently be transparent around our performance?